Hey guys, DJ here with GameTime Michigan, and I'm going to recap our Game Time GOAT Championship today. Do a little short recap and tournament breakdown stream, and then at the end of it, gonna talk briefly about some of my plans I have for the future of GOATs at Game Time going forward. Okay. So first, I kind of want to get some of the numbers out of the way with everything, like tournament statistics and things like that, and then we'll go into the players, the top 8, and the different the deck lists. So top 8 deck lists, and then some of the unique deck lists, because we had a decent amount of unique deck lists show up today, show up Saturday. Sorry. So to start off here, we had, and I got some pages of notes with me, so I'll probably be looking down throughout this video just to make sure I say the right things. But we had 25 players in the Game Time GOAT Championship on Saturday. We had 23 of them in their chairs ready to play when round 1 started. We had one player show up a few moments late and get a game loss for his round, and then we had one player that elected to register in the tournament at the very last minutes of round 1, and so they took a round 1 match loss. Fun fact, that player ended up making top 8. So to kind of break things down, we had, of the 25 players, let me make sure my math is right really quick here. Yep, okay, math checks out. I wanted to make sure I got my numbers right. We had 12 Chaos decks in our 25-player pool, so about half the field was Chaos. We had, and I think this surprised everyone, we had 4 burn decks of the 25 players. 3 were the more traditional burn, and then there was a 4th burn deck that was more of like a lockdown skill drain kind of burn with the big shield guard and stuff, but we'll talk about that later. So we had 12 Chaos, 4 burn. We had 3 warrior decks. One of the warrior decks was like a Chaos warrior mix, and then the other 2 were straight warrior. We had 1 earth aggro deck show up. We had 1 reasoning gate deck show up. And then we had 4 fairly unique decks. And so before I get into how the top 8 and all that played out, I want to kind of touch base on these 4 unique decks that we had show up. So let me hunt down my deck lists here. So first I want to talk about, and this is just in no particular order, I had Dan M. He piloted what you could best call an ancient gear deck. So his deck looked something. His deck list read off like this. So he had 2 Ancient Gear Golem, 2 Gigantes, Ancient Gear Beast, Ancient Gear Soldier, 2 Giant Rats, 1 Mechanical Chaser, X-Head Cannon, Exiled Force, Jinzo, Mystic Swordsman level 2, Tribe Infecting Virus, DD Warrior Lady, Breaker, Sangan, and Kinetic Soldier. And before I go any farther on these deck lists, I did forget to mention all these 4 unique deck lists plus the top 8 deck lists. I will be posting them out actually on Facebook in the next couple of days here. So I figure I'll do it like that. I'll read them off here for now, and I'll actually post a screen copy of the deck lists on Facebook, on our Facebook business page in the next couple of days. And then so for Dan's spells and traps, his spells were pretty standard. The cards that stick out to me, he had 2 limiter removals to kind of fuel it all, and then traps look pretty standard. Side deck, he chose to run Dust Shoots in the side deck. He ran what else? He had Mind Controls in there, I assume, for the Chaos matchup, and then he had Spies in as well and Bottomless Trap Holes. So his side deck was a little unique. He also had Goblin Attack Force and King Tigers, but it was cool to kind of see an ancient gear deck show up. It did end up top 8ing, but it was cool to see get played and in action, and I wish it was something we would have been able to get on the feature match. I like to kind of get a couple of the unique decks if I can on the stream games, so maybe next time for that. Next up, I've got Sean G here. He was piloting a deck with, it looks more like traditional Chaos, but he had a Zaborg in there. He had an Abyss Soldier. He had a Cyber Jar, a DD Warrior Lady, a Morphing Jar. Other than that, just standard Chaos monsters. For his magic and trap cards, he had creature swaps in there. You don't usually see that. He had a brain control. He did rock 2 Metamorphosis, so that was pretty cool. He had the whole Scapegoat Metamorphosis package in the main deck. He chose to main deck Premature, and he had a United We Stand in the main deck too. Also, he had a Desert Sunlight in the main deck, which is kind of cool. And then his side deck kind of looks like he wanted a few answers to Warriors, and then he didn't like Burn. So he's got 2 Des Wombat in the side deck. He's got the Panda. He's got Mobius. He's got his Typhoon in the side deck. He's got Decrees in the side deck. So yeah, it looks like his deck was. This is the closest to kind of a normal deck you would see of the 4 that I had here, but it still looks pretty cool. Next up, now this one is really cool, so I'm going to cover the whole deck list on this one. We had Sam D show up, and he was piloting what I could describe as a Harpy Lady deck. So he's been up here once before playing this deck, a couple of months ago, if I remember right, on a Sunday. It was pretty cool to see. He's got his deck list is as follows. He's got 2 Birdface, 1 Breaker, 1 Flying Kamakiri, 2 Gravekeeper Spies, 2 Hand of Nefties, 3 Harpy Lady 1, 1 Harpy Lady Sister, 1 Sacred Phoenix, 1 Sangan, 1 Slate Warrior, 1 Tribe Infecting Virus. His spell cards are Triple Axe of Despair, Triple Elegant Egotist, 2 Harpies Hunting Grounds, 1 Swords of Revealing Light, 2 Smashing Ground, a Premature, and then all your good staples. So Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, Heavy Storm, Pot of Greed, Snatch Deal. And for his traps are pretty standard. He's got a Call, Mirror Force, Ring, Torrential, and then Triple Sakaratsu. His side deck, he was rocking Birdface, Creature Swap, Garuda the Wind Spirit, Gravekeeper Spy, Kaiku, 2 Monster Reincarnations, 2 Noblemans, Rising Air Current, Sylphid, Smashing Ground, Terraforming, and Triangle Ecstasy Spark. So those are some cards that you don't see played a whole lot, and honestly, I think he's the only person to play a Harpy Lady deck here since I started running GOAT tournaments middle of last year. So this was super cool to see. And then we've got one more deck to cover, and it's that of Toledo Alex. So he was rocking. He's been rocking this deck a couple of weeks here for our locals, and I was curious if he was going to continue to pilot it for this event, or if he's going to go back to something that more that he's more comfortable with. But I guess he's very comfortable with this deck. So it is. I'm not exactly sure what to call it. Some sort of, it's like a dinosaur deck basically. It's kind of cool. So for his deck list, here's his deck list. So he's got, maybe it's a water deck. He's got 2 Dark Triceratops, 2 Abyss Soldiers, 3 Mother Grizzly, 1 Serpentine Princess, 1 Tribe Infecting Virus, 1 Penguin Soldier, a Sangan, a Breaker, a Cyber Jar, 2 Gale Lizard, 1 Magician of Faith, and 1 Sinister Serpent. His magic cards are for the most part more standard. He's got 2 Noblemen, 1 Delinquent Duo, 1 Typhoon, 1 Salvage, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Snatch Deal, 1 Ultra Evolution Pill, 1 Graceful Charity, a Premature, and a Pot of Greed. And then he's got a decent amount of traps in here. So he's got double Dust Tornado, double Jar, double Rageki Break, double Dust Shoot, Torrential, Mirror Force, Call, and Ring. So I know locally he's played a deck like this or very similar to this for a couple of weeks. He's got 1 win under his belt with it on a Friday, and then he played it at the Game Time GOAT Championship. So once again, all 4 of these decks, I'll have the deck lists posted on the Facebook page with them, as well as the top 8 deck list too. But I just kind of wanted to cover them really quickly because even at a tournament such as this, $45 buy-in, $1,000 prize pool guarantee, we still had some unique deck lists show up, some things that I definitely wasn't expecting. So I appreciate the people that chose to pilot these decks, and I kind of wanted to give them a shout out. And speaking of shout outs, so I was looking through the deck list, and I have to give a shout out to Kenny Hughes. On his deck list under country of residency, he wrote not Canada. I respect it. So I thought that was funny. I just wanted to give Kenny a shout out for that. Moving on to our top 8. So our top 8 breakdown was as follows. We had 5 Chaos decks and 3 Burn decks in our top 8. Our top 8 matchups were Burn versus Burn, Chaos versus Chaos, Burn versus Chaos, and another Chaos versus Chaos matchup. Of those matchups, our third and fourth finishers were 2 Chaos decks, and our first and second finishers were Chaos 1 and Burn came in second. So we're going to talk a little bit about the players here. I know most of them, so I kind of want to give a little basic rundown of the top 8 players. So in our top 8, I'm just going to go, I've got my the little top 8 bracket sheet right here, so I'm just going to go from the top down with it. We had Will versus Dan L. He's known as British Dan here. Everybody calls him British Dan. Surprise, he's British. So Will he's known as Toledo Will. You may have seen him on the GOAT Grand Prix Detroit stream here. He was 12 at the time. He's now 13. He top 4 Detroit. He made the finals here. And Will was playing Burn, and Dan was playing more of like a lockdown Burn, whereas Will was more traditional Burn. Now, the unique thing about that top 8 matchup was when we did deck checks, Will had forgotten to de-side deck after his round 6 matchup, and consequently, Will started that match with a game loss. So the top 8 matches and the top 4 matches were best of 3. It's never good to start with a game loss in your top 8 match. But Will was able to power through it and win the next 2 games to make it to top 4 and eventually the finals. Our next matchup on our list, we had Chris McGarrett and Jeff Campbell. So Jeff Campbell he's been longtime player here. He has won. We've done 2 GameTime GOAT invitationals here. Jeff has won both of them. Jeff has GOAT Grand Prix top 4 under his belt. I believe top 4, if I'm not mistaken, under his belt, and I think he's got a top 8 too, but I could be mistaken on that one. I know he's in chat here, so he'll correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then Chris McGarrett, he doesn't play at the store here a whole lot. He's not one of the regulars, but he is local to the area. I don't know of his previous accomplishments, but I know he's got a GOAT prior to GOAT format. But I know he does have a GGP win under his belt, and he top 4 GOAT Grand Prix Detroit this year as well. He's a very strong player. He also won GOAT Grand Prix Livonia, and he beat Chris Pateo in the finals of that one. So Chris has a very strong, Chris McGarrett has a very strong track record, and he was able to overcome Jeff in their top 8 Chaos Mirror match. And then moving on to the next matchup, we had Ryan West versus Adam Teshuba. Everybody knows Adam. He's also known as AJT BLS Online. He's got a ton of accolades online, ton of accolades, real life here. He's got 3 GOAT Grand Prix under his belt, victories under his belt. He's got something like 11 top 8s or 10 top 8s, something absurd as far as top 8s go. So he's on the very short list of best GOAT players on the planet, if not the best one. So really respect him and the work he puts in to grind and just maintain his form. And he was playing Chaos. He was up against Ryan West, who was playing Burn, and Ryan here, he's a local guy. He's been playing forever. Makes it out here to the store a couple of times a month to play. And usually he's on Burn. He likes his Burn deck. So he had made top 8, but he fell to Adam in the top 8. And then our final top 8 match, we had Jacob Cook versus Wes Fowler. So it was nice to see. Wes is a local guy. He plays a lot. He's been on a bit of a cold streak, so it was nice to see him get a top 8 here. He's got a couple of Grand Prix top 8s. He top 8'd the first GGP Detroit that we ran in 2023. And then Jacob Cook, I don't know a whole lot about him. I know he traveled to come and play here, and that's something I do as long as we're on the topic here. Before I forget, I do want to give a shout out to everybody that did come out and travel to come play in the event. I really didn't think we'd have as many people travel as far as they did that we did have, so I think it was really awesome that everybody's dedication to come out and grind and play. And like I had said on my Facebook post, these events would not be possible without the players that participate having the dedication that they do, to come travel and play, and the hard work they put in to, hone their craft and be the best they can. So it was just everybody that took the time out of their day to come play. I really appreciate it, and it was cool to see. Okay, so back on topic, we had we had Wes versus Jacob Cook, and Jacob Cook bested Wes. I believe they went to a game 3, but Jacob was the victor. So our top 4 matchups were Chris McGarrett and Toledo Will. Toledo Will ended up besting Chris in top 4, and Adam in the Burn versus Chaos matchup, and then Adam and Jacob had a Chaos Mirror, and Adam was able to win that matchup. Adam ended up playing Will in the finals. The way we ran the finals here was we did a best of 5 with side decking for games 2, 3, 4, and 5, and Adam was able to win that matchup 3-1 to win the tournament. So Adam has won this year here, GOAT Grand Prix Detroit, and then he also won the GameTime GOAT Championship. So locally, at least, Adam's on a little bit of a run. He's won 2 major tournaments here. And yeah, I don't really have a ton to say about that. He's clearly one of the best, if not the best, at what he does. So it's really cool to see the effort and skill and all that kind of rewarded in the players. And then just a quick shout out to everybody that top 8'd. Congratulations on making top 8. Everybody that top 8'd made some money. So I thought that was cool. And then let's get into some of the deck lists. Oh, one thing I did want to give a shout out to real quick. Somebody always has to get 9th place in these tournaments. The way this worked out is we had 1, 4, and 2 that missed out. So I got to give a quick shout out to Rob Cedar. Rob Cedar was the unfortunate bubble boy there and finished in 9th. Want to thank him for coming out to play, and hopefully he'll have a better result next time. All right. Where's my top 8 deck list? So we are going to start with the players that fell in top 8. Then we'll get to the 3rd and 4th, and then 1st and 2nd last. So get those over there for now. So we'll start with British Dan. He was playing more of a lockdown burn deck, and his match was against the traditional burn deck, Will in top 8. So his deck list was 1 Morphing Jar, 3 Big Shield Gardna, 3 Gravekeeper Spies. That's all for the monsters. And then for his spell cards, he had a Graceful, a Pot, Swords, 2 Level Limit, and 3 Wave Motion Cannon. And the rest of his deck sits in the trap section. For his traps, he ran 2 Fake Trap, 3 Secret Barrel, 3 Solemn Judgment, 3 Nightmare Wheel, 2 Ojama Trio, 2 Skill Drain, 3 Just Desserts, 2 Gravity Bind, 1 Ring, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Magic Cylinder, and 1 Ceasefire. So very trap heavy. I'm curious to know if he ran into any Royal Decrees during the day and how that worked out for him. Because I would imagine Royal Decree would be a tougher matchup for him, right? On his side deck, he had double Mystic Walk, 7 Tools, 2 Magic Drain, 2 Brain Control, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Snatch Steel, 1 Lava Golem, that's kind of spicy, 2 Mobius, 1 Exiled Force, 1 Breaker, and 1 Cyber Jar. So that was Dan's lockdown burn deck list. And now we'll go on to, I've got Ryan West deck list here. This was more of a traditional burn deck that he piloted. So he's got 3 Giant Rat, 3 Pandas, 2 Koalas, 1 Sangan, 1 Exiled, 1 Cyber Jar, 1 Morphing Jar, 1 Injection. For spells, he's got triple Chain Energy, triple Trunade, double level limits, Snatch, Graceful, Premature, Storm, Pot. So I don't know burn decks well enough to know if the Premature is standard or not, or if that was like something extra that he wanted to rock in there on his own. But it's pretty cool nonetheless. And then on the trap side, he's got triple Geometrio, 3 Just Desserts, 3 Secret Barrel, 2 Jars, 1 Ring, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Ceasefire. So for the main deck, that to me at least, that sounds like that's pretty standard for a burn deck. And then on the side deck, he had a little bit of a transformational side deck going. So he had 2 Gigantes, 2 Kinetic Soldier, 2 GD Assailant, 2 Goblin Attack Force, 2 Rhoda, 2 Mystic Walk, 2 Noblemen, and a Mind Control. So I'm curious, like, what if he was transforming against just Chaos or every deck or just Warriors, or how he was handling it. But he did have a little bit of a transformational sideboard there, or side deck there, which is pretty cool. Next up, we've got Jeff Campbell. Now, the unique thing about Jeff likes to rock 41 cards in his decks, and it looks like he ran 41 today, or Saturday too. So breaking it down, we've got he went on Chaos, and he has got looks like a mostly standard Chaos deck. So we've got a Soldier, a Breaker, double Chaos Sorcerer, double Train, triple Spy, double Magician, double Knight Assailant, Sangan, Serpent, triple Thunder Dragon, Tribe Infecting, and then Tsukuyomi. So pretty standard on your monsters. Spell cards, he's got Duo, Graceful, Storm, Pot, Snatch, Steal, double Nobleman, double Upstart Goblin. And then on his trap lineup, he chose the big thing that stands out to me is he chose to run Phoenix Wing today or Saturday. Players are always split on whether you run Phoenix Wing or Raigeki Break in Chaos, and it just kind of seems like it's up to personal preference what you're trying to beat, right? So Jeff decided to go with Phoenix Wings in his build. So he had triple Jar, triple Phoenix Wing, triple Trap Dust Shoot, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Ring, 1 Torrential. I know people have been side decking Torrential more and more, so it was interesting to see a main deck the Torrential for Saturday. Then in his side deck, he's got double Book of Moon, double Kinetic, 2 Kaiku, 2 Metamorphosis, 3 Mystic Walk, 2 Decree, and 2 Scapegoat. So he's got the Scapegoat Metamorphosis in the side deck. I assume that's for Warriors, and that's just something that he wants to bring in against Warriors. I assume he probably didn't get to use that very much on Saturday just because we only had 3 Warrior decks in the whole tournament, which was surprising. That's what stood out to me a lot. We had 4 Burn and 3 Warriors. So I think we had more Burn than most people were expecting, and then we had a lot less Warrior than people were expecting. And then moving on to our final deck list. It's a little bit hard to read, but got Wes Fowler's deck list here. So he played Chaos. He was on a 40-card deck list. He's got his main deck's pretty standard. He chose to, for most of it, so he's got some cool spell cards. He's got a Soldier, double Chaos Sorcerer, Breaker, 2 Train, 3 Spies, 2 Knight Assailant, 2 Magicians, Sangan, triple Thunder Dragon, Tribe, Tsukuyomi, Sinister Serpent. So monster's pretty standard. We get a little bit of uniqueness in the spell cards. He ran Duo, Charity Storm, Pot, Snatch Steal, double Upstart, double Nobleman, and he elected to run double Mind Control in his main deck. I assume that was for Chaos Mirrors, and it seems like it paid off for him. We had 12 of the 25 decks on Saturday were Chaos, so he probably got a lot of use out of those Mind Controls. For his trap cards, he's got 1 Jar, 1 Mirror Force. He chose to go Raigeki Breaks, so he ran 2 Raigeki Breaks. Ring, triple Trap, Dust Shoot, and then 1 Torrential Tribute. So he also chose to main deck the Torrential. And I know Wes is a player that flip-flops back and forth on the Dust Shoots, whether he plays them and how many he plays. For this tournament, he played 3, and then he chose to go again with the Raigeki Break. So it's interesting to see kind of both Chaos choices, working out. Like we had Raigeki Break, and then we had a Phoenix Wing both in top 8. And then for Wes's side deck, He's got double Berserk Gorilla, Spirit Reaper, double Zombira, Card Destruction, Mystical Space Typhoon, double Mystic Walk, triple Sakuretsu, triple Solemn Judgment. So that's become more popular lately. The whole Berserk Gorilla, Solemn Judgment for the mirror, that kind of thing. So he was rocking that too. All right. So that's the wrap for our top 5th through 8th finishers. And now we'll move on to top 4. So finishing in 3rd and 4th, we had Jacob Cook and Chris McGarrett. We'll start here with Chris McGarrett. As I mentioned before, he recently won GGP Livonia, so he's already got his Worlds invite this year. And then he had he had a deep run in Detroit a couple of months ago, and now he had a deep run here too. His deck list looks more standard as well. Here's the breakdown of it. So he's got the Soldier, Breaker, double Chaos Sorcerer. He opted for 3 Dekochi, so he's running 21 monsters. So he's up a monster on normal, and he's running 3 trains. Triple Spy, double Magician, double Night Assailant, Sangan, Serpent, triple Thunder Dragon, Tribe Infecting, and a Tsukuyomi. And then for spell cards, he chose to run a Card Destruction in his main deck. You don't see that super often, so that's kind of cool. That's a little bit different thing he did. Then Duo, Charity Storm, double Nobleman, Pot, Snatch Steal, double Upstart, and he opted for 1 Mind Control main deck as well. Probably assuming a reasonably large turnout for Chaos, which was correct. And then on his trap card side of things, he had 1 Jar, 1 Mirror Force. He opted for the Raigeki breaks too. He ran double Raigeki break, Ring, Torrential, and 2 Trap Dust Shoots. And then on his side deck, Chris always does some unique things with his side deck. So it's kind of cool to see. In his side deck, he had 2 Apprentice Magician, 1 Mind Control, 1 MST, 2 Mystic Walk, 1 Old Vindictive Magician, which the Apprentice Magicians can search out, 1 Raigeki Break, 3 Sakuretsu Armor, 3 Solemn Judgment, and another Trap Dust Shoot. So that's Chris McGarrett's deck. And now we have Jacob Cook's deck. So he was Chaos as well. Another one, it looks pretty standard on the main deck. He's got triple Thunder Dragon, double Night Assailant, double Chaos Sorcerer, 2 Magician of Faith, 2 Dekochi, 2 Gravekeeper Spy. He chose to run one Gravekeeper's Guard, so he ran 2 Spies and 1 Guard instead of the 3 Spies. That's pretty unique. You don't see that very often, so that's cool to see. He had a Tsukuyomi, a Breaker, a Sangan, a Tribe, a Sinister Serpent, and then finally Blackluster Soldier. The Chaos one, not the Ritual one. For spells, we had double Nobleman, double Upstart, Pot, Graceful, Duo, Storm, Snatch Steal. Chose main deck MST and one main deck Mind Control as well. So that's, I know some people are like on the fence whether they main deck Typhoons or not. So it was cool to kind of see that get played in the main deck Mind Control. Seems like there was a lot of main deck Mind Controls that made top 8. So people that chose to main deck Mind Control, it seems like they made the right decision, given the field turnout. And then on the trap side, we've got 2 Jar, 2 Dust Shoot, 1 Phoenix Wing, 1 Raigeki Break. So Jacob chose to run 1 of each. He chose the 1-1 split here. 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential, and 1 Ring. And then for the side deck, he's got double Zombira, 1 Asura Priest, 1 Kaiku, 1 Hysteric Fairy, which that's pretty cool, the Hysteric Fairy. I think he was the only one playing Hysteric Fairy in his side deck Saturday. 1 Mobius, double Mystic Walk, 2 Mind Controls in the side deck, so it looks like for games 2 and 3, he's going up to 3 Mind Controls in certain matchups, so that's kind of cool. 1 Lightning Vortex, 1 Card Destruction, 1 Dust Tornado, 1 Sakuretsu, and 1 Widespread Ruin. So that's Jacob's deck, and now we're going to get on to the first and second deck lists here. So we'll start with Will. And just going into Will again, he recently turned 13. He's he's a young kid here, but he plays very well. A lot of the longtime local grinders have a lot of respect for Will. People call him the future of GOAT format. So it's pretty cool to see him, getting good results, right? He top forward GGP Detroit this year, and then he made the finals of this event. So I know that he's got a win in him. It's just a matter of time before he gets that big one. It'll be really satisfying to him when he finally does, for sure. So he chose to run Burn, and his Burn deck is as follows. It's mostly, it's the normal Burn Burn build. So looks pretty standard, but he's got 3 Panda, 2 Giant Rat. He chose 3 Koala. I asked him about that, and he said he just wanted a third. Both jars, Morphing and Cyber, 1 Exiled, 1 Injection, 1 Sangan. For spells, 3 Chain... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. 3 Chain Energy, 2 Level Limit, 2 Giant Trunade, 1 Swords, 1 Graceful, 1 Pot. Some people play triple Trunade. Will opted to run just 2. And then for trap cards, Will had triple Secret Barrel, triple Ojama, triple Just Desserts, 3 Nightmare Wheel, 2 Gravity Bind, 1 Cylinder, 1 Ring, 1 Ceasefire. And then in his side deck, he had a Breaker, a Tribe, 1 Des Wombat, 2 Kinetic Soldier, 1 Mystic Swordsman 2, 3 Wave Motion Cannon. I'm curious what he was boarding the Wave Motion Cannons in against. Maybe Burn Mirrors or something. 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Typhoon, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Mirror Force, and 2 Threatening Roars. And then little sneak peek on some content. The next time I have a chance to sit down with Will, I will be doing a little short interview with him, and we'll get that up on the YouTube channel as soon as I get that shot and edited. And finally, we get down to our champion, Adam Teshuba, AJTBLS. Like I said, Adam has a long list of accomplishments, both online and in the live realm, and not just limited to GOAT format too. He's picked up Edison and is getting some results in Edison as well. So Adam is definitely the pinnacle when it comes to just like competitive play. And he played a Chaos deck. So let's get into his Chaos deck. He opted for the 21 monster build as well. Went with Breaker, Double Knight Assailant, Triple Takochi, 1 Tsukuyomi, 1 Sangan, 2 Magician, 1 Sinister Serpent, a Soldier, a Tribe, 2 Chaos Sorcerer, Triple Thunder Dragon, and Triple Spy. Spell card wise, a Snatch, a Delinquent Duo, MST, Double Upstart, 1 Storm, 1 Graceful Charity, Double Nobleman, 1 Pot, and a Mind Control. So he had a Mind Control and a Typhoon main deck, which not everybody does. So again, the main deck Mind Controls seem like they really paid dividends on Saturday. And then for his traps, he had 1 Solemn, triple Trap Dust Shoot, double Phoenix Wing, so he opted for the Phoenix Wings, 1 Ring, and 1 Mirror Force. And then on Adam's side deck, he played a Mystic Swordsman 2, 3 Mystic Walk, 1 Mind Control, 2 Solemn Judgment, 2 Sakuretsu, 1 Call, 1 Rageki Break, 1 Des Wombat, which if you watch the finals, the Des Wombat definitely came in clutch in one of the games, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 2 Kaikus. So that was Adam's deck list. That covers that. And like I said, Adam was our champion. We had offered the high roller options as well for this event, like I normally do for most events here, and how I did for GO Grand Prix Detroit. Adam was one of the players that opted into the high roller, and Adam won the high roller. So he won the tournament and won the high roller, and he's got a nice little Game Time GOAT Championship trophy to go with it all too. So those are my deck lists. Make sure I have my notes. And yeah, once again, we had 25 players. It generated a $1,110 prize pool. We did 6 rounds of Swiss, cut to top 8, and played it out from there. So that's about it. That's how the Game Time GOAT Championship played out. I think my overall thoughts are, like I had mentioned earlier, I'm happy with the turnout as far as people coming to travel to come participate in the event. We had some new faces here that I had never seen before, so that was really cool to see. Just how how dedicated and how many people are dedicated into the goat format in the Midwest area. So I think there's going to be some very good things on the horizon for goats in the area. The burn deck surprised me. 3 burn decks and top 8 surprised me, honestly. But outside of that, I think I didn't hear really any complaints with the event or how it was ran. It sounded like everybody, had fun with it. And then if you did participate in the event, always looking for feedback on it and how to improve, make the next one even better. But that's a wrap on the Game Time Goat Championship recap. And now I'm going to transition here really quick and talk a little bit about some of my upcoming plans for the future of goats here at Game Time. So this topic, it really deserved its own video, which in the next couple of weeks I'll make and put out once I kind of get everything finalized. But there's a few things that I'm comfortable enough, sharing at least a little bit of right now, right? So first of all, we will have the invitational season. It will be back. We will have another season. It looks like it's going to be October, November, December this year. So we will have another invitational season, and I'm hoping to run it this year. I believe that will be that 3-month time frame. In the next week or two, I'll get everything finalized and information published out on that. And then one of the bigger things that I've been sitting on for a minute is the big one. The big one will return in 2025. So that should be pretty cool. And I think that about covers it for today. Like I said, I want to first and foremost thank everybody that, came out to come and, play the event and participated in the event. I know a lot of people drove in for it from out of town, so it was great to see everybody. Without that kind of support, events like the Game Time Goat Championship won't be possible, right? So it was really, really cool to see all the the turnout that I had, and I do believe on the next one of these, if there is a next one, the turnout will be even bigger and better, and everything will be better than it was this time. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm just excited, going forward into next year, and also, if you couldn't make it to one of these big events, if you just sat at the computer and watched it play out, I appreciate locking in the view and watching it play out. And hopefully, at some point in the future, you can make it down here, to Game Time for GOAT events. I really do believe that at this point, I probably run one of the best scenes on the planet for goats. I run very good tournaments. I'll stroke my ego a little bit here. I'm happy with how everything's going, and I'm looking very forward to next year on being able to get things going even bigger. I'm super excited for GOAT Grand Prix Detroit next year. I'm super excited for some of the bigger events that I've got planned, and I'll have more information I'll be able to put out in the next couple of weeks as far as our next season and the next few larger events we'll have. So I want to finish this off here by thanking everybody for watching, thanking everybody that, once again, came out to play. I've said thank you like 10 times now at this point. I'm just rambling. So we'll wrap this one up. Have a great one, guys. If you have any comments or criticisms or feedback or anything, shoot me a message on the business page, facebook.com/GameTimeMI. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great one.